Soaring above the ordinary is not just a dream, it's a divine calling. You weren't created to merely survive, blend in, or live a life that pleases the crowd. You were made in the image of God, designed with purpose, and destined for greatness. But that greatness requires a choice, to rise above the noise, above the fear, above the limitations that others accept as normal. It means choosing the sky over the nest, choosing discipline over comfort, choosing purpose over popularity. Like the eagle, those who soar above the ordinary fly alone at times, not because they're arrogant, but because they refuse to be pulled down by the weight of compromise. The eagle doesn't flap with pigeons or gossip with crows. It knows its strength lies in the heights, not the ground. In the same way, you cannot live an extraordinary life while surrounding yourself with ordinary thinking. There are people who will mock your dreams, downplay your gifts, and label your faith as foolish. But you must decide, will you stay grounded with the crowd or rise alone with God? You see, the higher you go, the thinner the air. Fewer voices, fewer distractions, just clarity, focus, and God's whisper. It's in those high places where it's quiet and still that you start hearing the call on your life. That's why the enemy wants to keep you grounded. That's why comfort is so dangerous. Because comfort breeds complacency, and complacency kills calling. Many settle for less not because they can't do more, but because they're afraid to leave the familiar. The ordinary is predictable, easy, and safe, but the sky that takes faith, that takes courage, and more than anything, that takes the willingness to leave behind everything that weighs you down, fear, doubt, comparison, bitterness, shame, none of that belongs in the skies. God can't lift what you won't release. When you decide to rise, you're going to face resistance. Don't be surprised when the wind pushes against you. That's how you gain lift. Just like the eagle uses the very storm others hide from, you must learn to lean into the challenges. You don't rise in stillness, you rise in resistance. God uses the pressure to shape you, the delays to prepare you, and the storm to promote you. What's pushing against you may actually be what's lifting you. To soar above the ordinary, you must stop trying to be understood by those who have no vision. The eagle's perspective is different. It sees farther, clearer, and higher. That means others won't always understand your moves, and that's okay. You're not called to be understood. You're called to be obedient. Don't trade your calling for their comfort. Let me tell you something important. God doesn't waste high places on the unwilling. He looks for those whose hearts are fixed, whose minds are focused, and whose spirits are ready. If you want to soar, you have to leave the nest. It's time to stop playing small, stop apologizing for your calling, and stop delaying the steps you know you're supposed to take. The longer you wait, the heavier your wings will feel. God said in Isaiah 40:31, "But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles." That's not a casual promise, that's a supernatural truth. God is the wind beneath your wings. He's not asking you to do it alone. He's just asking you to rise, and when you rise, He will meet you in the air. He will guide you, strengthen you, and carry you where your feet could never take you. So the question is not, can you soar? The question is, will you choose to? Because everything you need is already inside you. The sky is calling, the winds are shifting, and God is ready, but you must rise. Soar above the ordinary because you weren't born for the ground. You were born to fly. When the storms of life begin to rage, most people seek shelter, they run, they hide, they pray for the clouds to pass and the winds to die down, but the eagle responds differently. It doesn't flee the storm, it flies directly into it. And in doing so, it soars higher than ever before. That is not just a lesson from nature. It's a divine principle. The very winds that knock others down are the same winds that lift the eagle up. In Isaiah 40:31, the Bible tells us, "They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles." This isn't just poetic language, it's a blueprint for living. It reminds us that those who trust in God don't just endure the storm, they rise above it. Storms are not meant to destroy you, they are allowed to develop you. Without resistance, you cannot build strength. Without adversity, you cannot build character, and without storms, you cannot learn to fly higher. Every storm in your life is a disguised opportunity for growth, transformation, and elevation. Think about it. The eagle waits for the right wind current, then stretches its wings and allows the storm to carry it upward. It doesn't waste energy flapping or fighting. It lets the storm do the work. And many of us are wasting our strength trying to fight storms that were designed to carry us. We panic, we resist, we complain, but God wants you to stretch your faith, surrender your fear, and rise with the wind. You may be going through a storm right now, a financial struggle, a health crisis, a broken relationship, a season of confusion or loss. It feels like chaos, like your world is unraveling. But what if this storm is not an attack, but an answer? What if it's not punishment, but preparation? Sometimes God allows the storm not to destroy your plans, but to redirect them. You were comfortable, you were settled, you were playing it safe, and then the winds came. They shook everything, but look closely. What you thought was the enemy's plan might actually be God's promotion. The storm is moving you, it's pushing you, it's positioning you for something greater. If you never had the storm, you would have stayed on the ground, but now you're learning how to soar. You're discovering strength you didn't know you had. You're depending on God in ways you never did before. And in the process, you're being lifted. Higher in faith, deeper in wisdom, stronger in character. The eagle doesn't fear the storm, it embraces it, because it knows something others don't. The higher it goes, the clearer its vision becomes. And the same is true for you. When you rise above the storm, you begin to see life from God's perspective. You stop reacting emotionally, and you start responding spiritually. You stop asking why me, and start declaring what's next. This is not the end of your story. This is the elevation point. The storm you're facing may feel like a setback, but it's setting you up for a comeback. Your wings were made for this. Your spirit was designed for this. And your God has already gone ahead of you to prepare the skies. Don't curse the storm, don't fear the storm, don't avoid the storm, fly into it. Trust the process, trust the wind, because what feels like resistance today will become the reason you're flying tomorrow. You're not a chicken scratching the ground in fear. You're not a pigeon fluttering in panic. You are an eagle, made to rise, made to soar, made to thrive in places others can't reach. The winds may be strong, but so are you. And when you trust in the Lord, you will mount up with wings like eagles. You will run and not grow weary. You will walk and not faint. The storm is your opportunity. The time is now. Spread your wings and rise. Vision determines direction. Without a clear vision, life becomes a wandering journey with no destination, no passion, and no impact. It's not enough to be alive. You must live with purpose, and purpose begins with vision. When God gives a vision, it doesn't just show you what's possible, it shows you what's necessary. It becomes the reason you wake up with fire in your heart and focus in your steps. A man or woman without vision is like a ship without a compass, tossed by the waves, moved by the winds, but never reaching the shore. In the natural world, the eagle is a powerful symbol of vision. It can see its prey from miles away and stays locked on its target until it captures it. It doesn't get distracted by other birds or confused by noise around it. That's how we must live, with focus, intention, and the clarity to say no to things that don't align with our calling. So many people are busy, but not effective. Active, but not advancing. Why? Because they lack vision. They're reacting to life instead of leading it. They're chasing what others expect of them instead of pursuing what God created them to be. Vision gives direction, and direction brings discipline. When your eyes are fixed on a destination, you don't waste time. You don't waste energy. You don't wander into meaningless distractions. You guard your time, your heart, and your attention because you know where you're going. And not everything or everyone can go with you. Look at Abraham. God gave him a vision: leave your country, your people, and your father's household, and go to the land I will show you. That one vision changed the course of history. Abraham didn't have the full map, but he had direction. And that was enough. You may not have every step figured out, but if you have the vision God placed in your heart, that's enough to begin. Vision is not always comfortable. In fact, true vision will stretch you, test you, and take you beyond what you thought you were capable of. It will cause you to walk by faith, not by sight, because what you see in your spirit doesn't always match what's happening around you. But vision doesn't wait for circumstances to line up. It speaks life even when you're surrounded by death. It sees light even in darkness. It keeps moving forward when everything says stop. There will be seasons when your vision is challenged. People will doubt you. You'll feel unseen. You'll question whether the vision was real. But don't let the delay make you doubt the direction. Vision may tarry, but it will speak. It will come to pass. What God starts, He finishes. What He promises, He performs. When Joseph had a vision, it put him in a pit, a prison, and finally a palace. But he never lost sight of what God showed him. Vision anchored his faith and directed his steps. He didn't allow bitterness or betrayal to blind him. He stayed faithful because he saw something greater. That's the power of vision. It lifts your eyes above your problems. It puts fire in your bones. It gives you the strength to say, not yet, but soon, not now, but I'm on my way. It helps you endure the night because you know the morning is coming. You must protect your vision. The enemy doesn't fear your talent. He fears your direction. If he can't destroy your gift, he'll try to distract your focus. He'll fill your life with good things to keep you from the God thing. Don't let temporary noise drown out eternal purpose. You were made for more than survival. You were created to build, to bless, to lead, to influence. And vision is the spark that ignites all of that. Without vision, you'll settle for less than what you were born for. But with vision, you become unstoppable, not because of your strength, but because you know where you're going and who you're following. So lift your eyes, renew your focus. Don't chase everything. Chase the vision. It's the map to your purpose, the path to your legacy, and the fire that keeps you alive. When you walk with vision, you don't just go through life. You rise through it. You soar like the eagle. There comes a time in every person's journey where they must make a decision, not just about where they're going, but what they're leaving behind. Too many people try to soar into a new season while carrying the dead weight of the past. But like the eagle, you must learn this lesson of strength. You can't feed on what's already dead and expect to live. Eagles never scavenge. They don't eat what's been lying on the ground, spoiled by time and decay. They rise, they hunt, and they look for what is fresh, what is alive. It's not just about diet, it's about mentality. The eagle is wise enough to know that if it feeds on death, it will be weakened. And yet many of us feed daily on the dead things of our past. We replay old conversations, we dwell on old failures, we rehearse betrayal. We scroll through memories like wounds instead of wisdom. But listen closely. What you feed your mind shapes your future. There are relationships you've already outgrown, but you're still holding on because of guilt or comfort. There are dreams that have already died, but you're still clinging to them instead of letting God plant something new. There are regrets that can't be changed, but you've let them become the story of your life. This is not how you were created to live. God said in Isaiah 43:18-19, "Forget the former things, do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing." That's not a suggestion, it's a command. Why? Because dwelling on the dead prevents you from receiving the living. If your heart is full of yesterday, there's no room for tomorrow. You can't drink from bitter wells and expect to be filled with joy. You can't walk forward while looking backward. When Jesus called Lazarus out of the grave, he didn't just raise him from death. He commanded that the grave clothes be removed. Why? Because new life can't move freely when it's wrapped in the garments of death. Some of us have been raised, yes, we've come out of the dark places, the bad habits, the shame, but we're still wearing the grave clothes, still wrapped in what was, still identified by what happened. Letting go isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Forgiveness isn't foolish, it's freedom. Moving on isn't betrayal, it's obedience to God's call. If God has closed a door, stop standing at it knocking. If He's dried up a well, stop trying to drink from it. He's not punishing you, He's positioning you, but you can't move to what's next if your hands are full of what's past. There is a reason the windshield is bigger than the rear. You mirror. You glance at the past, but you don't stare at it. Your destination is ahead, not behind. The devil wants you chained to guilt, regret, fear, and loss. But God wants you freed to peace, power, purpose, and life. And He's not waiting until next year or next season to start something new. He's doing it now. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? Let go of what hurt you. Let go of who left you. Let go of what broke you. Not because it wasn't real, but because it can't define you anymore. You are more than your past. You are more than what was done to you. You are more than the worst thing you ever did. You are what God says you are: chosen, redeemed, renewed. Today, make the decision to stop feeding on what's dead. Start believing that what's ahead is better than what's behind. The eagle doesn't return to old prey. It rises again, it hunts again, it flies again. So should you. Let go. Not because you don't remember, but because you trust God with your future more than you trust yourself with your pain. Let go because God is doing something new. And what's new, what's living, will only come to hands that are open. There comes a time in life when everything familiar begins to fall apart. The dreams you held on to start slipping through your fingers. The people you leaned on grow distant. The strength you once had seems to fade. And in that moment, it feels like you've been forgotten, left behind, or even punished. But what if I told you that your breaking is not the end, it's the beginning of something far greater? The eagle, one of God's most majestic creations, gives us a profound picture of this truth. Around the age of 30, the eagle begins to age. Its feathers grow too heavy for flight, its beak curves inward, and its talons weaken. Flight becomes difficult, hunting becomes harder, and survival is threatened. It faces a decision: die in decline or go through a painful process of renewal. If it chooses renewal, the eagle retreats to a high mountain, a solitary place. There it begins the breaking. It plucks out its old feathers. It breaks off its worn beak against a rock. It tears away the past, piece by piece in agony. But after this brutal process, something miraculous happens. New feathers grow, a stronger beak forms, sharper talons emerge, and the eagle is reborn. You may be in that very place right now. The old strength is gone. You don't feel like yourself. The things that once worked don't anymore, and everything inside you screams to give up. But hear this today: God is not done with you. He is renewing you. Renewal does not come from comfort. It is born in isolation, in surrender, and in brokenness. It's in those quiet, painful moments when no one sees you that God is doing His deepest work. He is stripping away what can't go with you into the next season. The old mindsets, the old fears, the old habits, they're being broken so something greater can emerge. Sometimes God allows the breaking not to destroy you, but to rebuild you stronger. When He sees that you're holding onto things that limit your purpose, He lovingly begins to remove them. It feels like loss, but it's actually liberation. It feels like you're being buried, but in truth, you're being planted. Something new is about to grow. Jesus said in John 15, "2, every branch that does bear fruit, He prunes that it may bear more fruit. Pruning is painful. It means cutting, trimming, reshaping. But it is proof that there is life inside you worth developing. If you're being pruned, it's because God sees potential in you. He sees greatness, purpose, and fruit that hasn't yet come forth. It's in the valley of brokenness that faith is refined. When everything else is stripped away and all you have left is God, you finally realize God is enough. And that's when true power begins to rise inside you. Not the power of pride or position, but the power of surrender, the kind that moves mountains. You may be wondering, how long will this last? When will I feel strong again? The answer is found in waiting on God. Isaiah 40:31 reminds us, "But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles." That means your strength is not gone forever. It's being renewed, right now in your quiet place. In your tears, in your worship, in your surrender. The enemy wants you to believe that your pain is permanent. But God says, this is not where your story ends. I'm not finished yet. What you think is breaking you is actually shaping you. What you thought would bury you is the very ground where your new wings are forming. When the eagle emerges from its renewal, it doesn't just fly, it soars, higher than before, stronger than before. That will be your testimony too. You will rise again, you will feel joy again, you will dream again, and when you do, you'll realize that the breaking was never meant to destroy you. It was always meant to transform you. So don't despise the season you're in. Embrace it, learn from it, grow through it, and most importantly, trust God through it, because what He's doing in you now will prepare you for where He's taking you next. And just like the eagle, you will come out renewed, restored, and ready to soar not in your strength, but in His. Hold on, my friend. Your renewal is coming.